Hello, and welcome to Tracy Mommy Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a review of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. When I first read the blurb for this book, for some reason I thought about Elizabeth Taylor. You know, I thought that it was something along those lines. Because she's been married just as many times. I don't know if it was probably more than 7. But then I started reading the blurb, and I really was even more intrigued by this. Because the way that it starts off, so you have like this, Hollywood legend, and, she's been a recluse for, probably the past decade or so. And recently she donated a lot of her, famous gowns that she wore to like the Oscars and a lot of movie premieres to a foundation to help raise money for cancer research, right? And to kind of, coordinate with that, she reaches out to a magazine, or her people reach out to a magazine because they want to get some press around it. But the caveat is they ask for a particular reporter, a woman by the name of Monique Grant. So she's kind of unknown, fledgling in her career. And even her boss is like, we tried to send somebody else, but she wasn't having it. Evelyn Hugo wants you. And they were, trying to figure out, like, do you know her? Like, what's the deal here? What's the story? And Monique was like, no, I have no idea who this lady is. But it becomes apparent as Evelyn starts to tell her story to Monique, because this is the thing. When Monique gets to her house, because she's going to interview her for the magazine, Evelyn, just out of the blue, she tells her, no, what you're really here for is I want you to write my life story. I'm giving you the rights to my life story. You can write a book. You can make a bunch of money off of it after I'm gone. So Monique really is like, why would you do that? I don't even know you. But Evelyn, is telling her to be patient. Everything's going to reveal itself. So in addition to there's like 3 things going on in this book. First of all, you have Evelyn recounting like the last, 6 or 7 decades of her life, and what a life. She came to Hollywood when she was, and just let me back up here. This is a totally fictional story. This is totally fictional. But like I said, I couldn't help but, think about Elizabeth Taylor when I was reading some of this. But, she came to Hollywood very young age. I think she was like 15 or something. Lied about her age and had married some guy to get out of her, Brooklyn neighborhood, or Hell's Kitchen. That's where she was from. Hell's Kitchen neighborhood, because she wanted to be, famous, and she was trying to get away from an abusive father. So, she starts telling the story to Monique about her life and how she got into the business, and, marrying this guy, divorcing that guy, moving to the next guy, and just so forth and so on. And then you also have the story of, the story, Monique's writing a story. She recently went through a divorce. Her mom is in the story. And, so it's like Evelyn's past, we're building up to a story there. Then Monique's present. But the thing is how they intertwine. And there's this other thing there, because every now and then, as a reader, you'll start to wonder, like, why did she call her? And then Evelyn will drop a little something, like, well, it'll all make sense soon, or you're going to hate me when you find out, and all this kind of stuff. So it's almost a little mystery in there, like, where's her story going, and why, how is Monique connected? I had convinced myself that even though Evelyn was like old enough to probably be Monique's grandmother or great-grandmother, I was like, oh, maybe she's her real mom. Maybe Monique's adopted, and all this stuff. And that wasn't even close to what the secret ended up being. The story was very well written, and the way that the author like gave us, the way that she wrote about old Hollywood and just the history of all that, and how things were done back then, and all the cover-ups and lies, and how, like one of the marriages that Evelyn was in, it was, strictly, she really actually loved the guy, but it was really for the media and for the fans. You know, she was, you know, an up and coming chanteuse, and he was like, you know, America's favorite actor. And, you know, to see those two, you know, it's like this thing as fans when you see two people from a movie and they're like the perfect couple in the movie, and then they like come off the screen and they're a couple in real life. The fascination around that, you know, is still something that people just go crazy over, shipping people and that kind of thing. So even, you know, in the story, and that was like back in the, what, I guess 50s maybe, that's what was going on with Evelyn. You know, she married a guy because the studio wanted them together. And, you know, it was just, every marriage that she had, there was, like I said, except for the first one, she really did love him, but still it was like kind of the studio pushed them together. But every marriage that she had, there was like a ulterior motive behind it, if you will. There was a reason she married the person. In most cases, it was because of her career, you know, whether she wanted to come across a certain way or whether that would benefit her career in some certain way. And it was interesting because one of the questions that Monique, the reporter, asked her before she even got started, because, you know, she had 7 husbands, she asked her, who was your greatest love, you know? And we find out who her greatest love was, and it was something I didn't really see coming. I mean, and it was revealed kind of midway through the book, you know. And it was the way that it happened. I appreciate that it was such an organic way that she kind of, the author wrote that particular love story, that it didn't feel contrived. Like, I don't know, and I'm trying, I know I have been pretty bad in a lot of my reviews giving away so much or giving spoilers, but I'm definitely not going to spoil this one. But I've read books with similar pairings, and a lot of times it just seemed too forced and too in your face and too political or whatever. But this one, it was a really, like I said, it was a really organic story. It was really believable between those two characters. And yeah, I was fascinated by the stuff that the lives that Evelyn had lived and all of her marriages and everything that she had experienced. I mean, it was like reading the life of a real life person. I mean, it seems like a lot of this probably could have been taken from some real stories, namely like Elizabeth Taylor, like I said, because there was some stuff in here I was like, oh, that sounds like something that, you know, I've read about, I heard about. And something really cool that the author did, she used this mechanism in the book where she would take, like it was a front page article from a you know, tabloid or something to announce, you know, maybe the characters in the book that were getting married, or if there was some kind of scandal that had taken place. So that was pretty cool. But when we get to the part where we find out why Evelyn actually wanted Monique to be the one to interview her and subsequently write her memoir, wowzers. I didn't see that one coming. And it's crazy because this isn't like I'm trying to think, what are they saying like this book is? I don't see it on the thing, but you know, it just says a spellbinding novel about love, glamour, and the price of fame. I mean, it's not a suspense novel. I mean, I don't know what category this particular book would actually be in, but that was like almost like a little suspenseful type, you know, thing that happened. And, you know, I am such a big fan of when things like that are revealed, I need for it to be believable, you know, because I read books where just out of the blue, okay, this is the person, or this is the thing, or this is how it happened. And then you're like, what? That makes no sense. You know, you didn't never mention that person. They were never at that place. But this one, it was so subtle. You read about this whole incident that happened. And because you know, as a reader, you're so caught up in one of the characters that it happens to, you don't even think about the secondary person totally, but the person was there the whole time. So when they reveal it, you're just like, what? I mean, I had to go back and flip and see, did she say something about that? But it was really good. This was a really good book. I mean, all the historical stuff, even though it was all fictional, it was very on point. Like I said, it seemed like this was taken like out of somebody's actual life, or could have been taken out of somebody's actual life. I mean, there was some funny moments, some very sad moments. Just very, very good. It's just so hard for me not to like spill my guts and spill the beans about this book. But I really think that if you check this one out, you will not regret it. I think this will make a really, really good like series or something. You know how like they have the limited series or whatever on Netflix? I think this will be a really good one. And I know I had started off so good on my channel doing the Dreamcast, but I have been slacking so bad, and I didn't do enough research on this one. So I think that I'm probably going to discontinue doing the Dreamcast unless it's something that just really moves me. Like for this particular book, I didn't do any research, but I may put some, look at the description below the video, because I may add a couple of things. I mean, there were so many husbands and so many people, I don't know that I would go through all of them. And the thing that's funny is like, you see this picture here of Evelyn. I mean, that's supposed to be Evelyn, obviously. She's not a real person. But in the book, like, she actually was of Cuban descent. But she'd gone to Hollywood, dyed her hair platinum blonde, and she was passing for a white woman. And I will say this, it was a scene where one of the housekeepers or something at one of the homes that she owned, you know, was speaking Spanish. And I don't know if she was saying something negative or what she was saying, but Evelyn knew what she was saying, and just out of a like reactionary thing, she started replying to the lady in Spanish, and the woman was just like, oh my God, you speak Spanish? And then she caught herself because she realized, oh my God, I can't let these people know that I'm not white. So I thought that was interesting, because I'm sure that happened a lot in Hollywood as well. People maybe having a certain background that they had to downplay because during the era, maybe multicultural people or people that were non-white may not have been able to ascend to certain heights. So yeah, like I said, the accuracy, I think, even though it was a fictional book, like the historical stuff that the author weaved into the story, it seemed very, very realistic. But anyway, yeah, this was a really good book. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. You should definitely check this one out. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you've read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I'd love to know what you thought. Leave me a comment.